You gonna wait for them?
No.
No, we don't.
We're going to move forward.
We usually don't.
We have a quorum, so we're going to move forward.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sure.
Slamming the superintendent.
And the other way too. I don't care for it. Not my style. I don't know if that's any fun. No, that's to do with something that didn't happen yesterday with the weather. Policy stuff. And, I have,
Thank you all for coming. I'm going to call the meeting to order now. I'd like all of you to join the school board in the Pledge of Allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Under Agenda Item 3, I see no adjustments to the agenda. Moving on to item number 4, public comment. From the public session roster, we have first up Jennifer Preble. If you would come up and say your name and also your address, please. Thank you very much.
So good evening. My name is Jennifer Preble. I live at 236 Jenkins Road here in Saco. I've been a resident for at least 3 or 4 years now. And I am a mother of a pre-K student for the 2019-2020 school year. I have...
Ms. Preble, would you please speak into the microphone so everyone can
Sorry.
hear? Thank you very much.
I project, but you know. So again, my name is Jennifer Preble. I am at 236 Jenkins Road here in Saco. I've been here for about 3 to 4 years. And I am a mother of a pre-K student for the 2019-2020 school year. At the last school board meeting, I spoke of my concerns regarding Mr. DePatsy handling of the pre-K location situation and the impact it has on our students and staff. Tonight, I would like to share my concerns around how the cost of the Toddle-In location continues to impact us all as taxpayers. In May, Mr. DePatsy signed a lease for the Toddle-In location. In a Portland Press Herald article from the 19th, the lease is a 10-year lease, included a $24,000 security deposit plus another $24,000 monthly rent with a 2% increase in each year in a 10-year tax period. The lease is triple net lease, meaning that the leasee must pay a real estate tax, building insurance, and maintenance, in addition to rent, utilities, all, and according to a Journal Tribune article that the Portland Press Herald had quoted. And in a News Center Maine article, Channel 6, from September 19th, it stated that in June, the city of Saco sent a warning letter to the Toddle-In and the school department with concerns about the lease violations of the covenants in the industrial park prohibiting the ownership and use of any parcel of non-tax available entity. The city of Saco had directed the Saco schools to cease and desist its use of the property. Yet, the parents of the pre-K program received a letter, including myself, from the school department indicating that the Toddle-In location is the only real option for the pre-K students. Teachers began moving into their classrooms, and everyone, including myself, was very excited. Yet, then in July, after the teachers have moved into their classrooms, they are told they must vacate the premises. Parents are told that Toddle-In location is now not going to happen, as much to our disappointment. In addition, later on, we alarmingly find out that the Toddle location is unsafe. In an article from the Portland Press Herald from this past November 19th, as we all know, a city electrical inspector found that the property had not been inspected since '05, and there had never been any electrical inspections or permits issued for the pool and pool house building of the property. And when the former Toddland building was converted from natural gas to propane, no electrical inspection of heating or cooling equipment took place. According to this, is also quoted from a September 18th article from the Journal-Tribune. So the city ordered that the power of the building be disconnected. The school department had appealed that decision, noting it had found an alternative location for the pre-K program for the fall. But the city council ruled that the city was justified in the disconnection. So then comes July. So July, the school board, you guys, hold an emergency meeting to determine what steps to do next. The following day, in the following article from channel WMTW, on the 24th of July, the school board authorizes Mr. DePatsy to pursue 2 options for the pre-K program. By August, parents such as myself and teachers are unsure what locations or what pre-K program is going to take place. This is 1 month before school. 1 month before school. Many parents feel frustrated as myself that there's no resolution and they're scrambling for childcare. I myself had 2 programs lined up for my child, not knowing if he or she will be able to start pre-K in the fall with Saco schools. Parents received survey of the Saco School Department asking for 4 location preferences for my child and others for the pre-K program. There was Leap and Learn, First Parish Congregational Church, Young School, and Saco Parks and Rec. All options for leasing of the spaces for the upcoming pre-K year. Finally, 1 week before school starts, we have an answer to the locations. The parents are left with 3 locations: First Parish Congregational Church, the Young School location, and Parks and Rec. The First Parish, however, was delayed by a week due to untimely inspection required by DHS for the certification of the site. This had directly affected childcare for many parents. This needs the start of the job for teachers who need a paycheck that week, and continues to this day to be a week behind and not on the official school schedule. Again, failing to do research and needed to ensure the location for the pre-K program was sound before entering into another contract. Also, in a Channel 8 article from August 23rd, the school department was paying $24,000 a month for a vacated Toddland location, in addition now to a $3,000 a month lease for the First Parish location. So where does this bring us now? In the most recent article dated for the 20th of November, the school department has demanded that Toddland repay the $100,000 rent paid from July to October, then refusing to going forward due to Mr. DePatsy stating that the lease is void because of the zoning in the industrial park. Mr. DePatsy signed the lease in May, alleging that he didn't know the restrictions. The lawyer, Tim Bryan, clearly states in that article that that Toddland will defend its legal rights set forth in the lease. We are left now with a financial impact of paying for a building we cannot use, possibly for years of court battles to recoup monies we have paid and the cost of legal fees for the fight out of a lease and recouping monies paid in rent. What happens next year with the pre-K program? Are we going to continue to pay for multiple locations, transportation for everyone, students, staff, and faculty to these locations, and a building we can't use? Why was an obviously unsafe, unusable location not only selected and contracted, but even bullied forward with it after it was made clear that we were not using the building? Why did we move so slowly to an alternative option? Unfortunately, this mistake will carry on for years because of the poor planning and lack of research by Mr. DePatsy. He was warned by the city council to stop the process, yet he continued anyway. Unfortunately, as a parent, we all live in a world where our children's education is getting more expensive every year. To add to this, we are bombarded with new safety concerns for the children of our schools and safety daily. We can't afford to pile this mismanagement onto that and expect positive results. Please don't renew the contract for our current superintendent. Thank you for our time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next is John Bachero, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. Again, please state your name and address, please.
It's John Bickrell, like a pickerel, like the fish, with the B. And I'm an employee at Saco Schools. I live in Buxton. Sorry, drops down. That good? So yeah, thank you for giving me your time. Usually at this time I'm at home watching news with my wife. I'd give anything for a microphone and her undivided attention for 3 minutes, so it's a big honor right now. I did want to come out though and speak in support of Dominic DePatsy, Dr. DePatsy, as I know him at work. He was a big factor in my decision to come work at Saco Public Schools. I've worked in private schools for the last 15 years in special education. I'm a special educator, and I worked with the type of students that would be...
Could you, I really want to hear what you have to say. Can you please speak into
Yeah, sorry.
the
Is that
microphone?
better? Is that-
I know this is a strange acoustic situation.
I'm sorry. Sorry. So yeah, I was saying that I worked in public schools. That's much louder. I've worked in public schools or in private schools for the past 15 years in special education with kids that would be expelled from Saco schools like Sweetser and Spurwink. And a big decision for me in coming to the public schools was to be able to work with those type of kids and to prevent them from going to those types of private schools. And what I learned in coming to Saco schools is that Dominic, Dr. DePatsy, has established a school like that, a setting like that within the public schools. And that's where I work, and those are the type of kids that I work with. And for a program like that to be successful, it requires the support of administration from the top down. And since I started there, that's what he's provided. And I know I'm new, I've been here for 3 months, but I've seen that, and I can recognize that in programs where it's effective and where it's not effective. And if we're short with staffing, he's open to possibly hiring more people. He doesn't always do it. Money's, not the best with public schools, obviously, but he's open to those possibilities. When it comes to curriculum, he gives us options. It's not mandated that we follow one specific curriculum. And when it comes to special education and with educating different types of kids, it's options that are important. He provides that. And he has a vision for this program. It's something that he's established and that the people that are here are a part of. And although it's new, it's something that we come to work every day and we believe in. And that starts from the top down with his vision. So although I don't have something written up and I haven't known him for as long as some people here or been a part of these discussions, I can say that in my time here and what I've experienced in this situation, he's somebody that I fully support, and it would be in the best interest of the program itself if the leadership was allowed that continuity.
Thank you. Up next, we have Julie Buckley. Again, please state your name and address, and also speak clearly into the microphone. As you can tell, it takes a little bit to get out.
I'm Julie Buckley. I'm a psychologist and I work for the school district. I didn't realize I was going to be speaking when I signed in, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to speak in front of you in support of Dr. DePatsy. It's very hard to find psychologists in the state of Maine. There's a huge shortage. I came back to this school district after working for 8 years here. I left because the lack of understanding of special education in central office. And ethically, I have a responsibility to serve students with disabilities, and it's critical to have a superintendent that understands those needs. He reached out to me, and I came back to the district under his supervision in order to work in a district that understands the needs of students with disabilities. So I'm here to support him. I'm grateful to be working in Saco. And I want to remind you that there is a huge shortage of psychologists in the state. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, we have Buckley. Again, please speak into the mic, name and address, please. Thank you.
Hi, I am Madison Buckley. I work at Saco Fairfield in the special education program. I am only 2 years into doing this. I love what I do, but this is my first year at Saco. This is the best district I've ever worked in. I came here because I had it recommended by several family members and family friends that this particular school was so great for going into special education, being in the behavioral room, paths and such, like under what John said, because I'm in his room. Yeah, I love Saco and our superintendent, and that's all.
Thank you very much. Next up is Sarah Baines. Again, please speak into the microphone, say your name and address, please.
Not a problem. My name is Sarah Baines. I live at 17 Winter Street Extension here in Saco, and I've also been an employee of the school system for over 21 years. I am here this evening to ask for you guys to renew Dr. DePatsy's contract. After the November 20th school board meeting, and I apologize, I didn't bring my accessories, my soapbox or my computer like someone else did last week, but I'm sure we'll get along fine. During the time that I have been here, we've had over 8 superintendents in 21 years. That is not a good reputation to have, no matter what town you're from. They stay for 3 years, maybe that's being a little generous. Some stay to pad their retirement. Some stay just to, get to the next step up to another district. This needs to stop. It's not financially good for Saco. It certainly is not in the best interest of our children, and that's what we're all here for, is our children. We're a K through 8 district. So, again, when we start talking about paying superintendents and whatnot, we need to keep that in mind. Thornton is a standalone high school. Yes, we do pay them to take our students in, which is fine. But as a superintendent, he's only in charge of K through 8. And that being said, he has done a lot as far as Saco goes. The pre-K situation, unfortunately, Toddlin ended up being a mess. However, he's not the only one responsible for that. You, the school board members, okayed that, so I know you guys are going to own it. The mayor, not you, the previous mayor, was also the liaison between the school board and the city council, and there were crickets when any of these conversations were going on. And I would assume that it's going to be a little different now that you're in office. He has, with the pre-K, anybody else would have given up when Toddlin came, and all these things about how, he should have known that this inspection should have been done, and that should have been done, and this should have been done. And the reality is, those inspections should have been done at the time the services were being done at Toddlin under their ownership. It really has nothing to do with Dr. DePatsy at all. Another clarification I wanted to make was with a concerned parent last week, or the last school board meeting. She mentioned that she was concerned about the little pre-K kids having to walk down the street. And I can only assume that she was talking about from First Parish Church down to the Burn School is where they come. Now, luckily for me, I'm also at the time working in a classroom where I actually can look out the window, and I like to see the little guys coming down the sidewalk. They're cute as buttons. And there are more adults in charge of those kids walking 2 by 2. I've never seen better behaved kids. I hope they're like that when they get to Burns. We have the safety lights there flashing for them. They all walk up. They're always bundled up in their little coats, especially like today they walked up. If there's a need for them to use the bathroom, they have an adult with them that brings up 2 or 3 children to use the bathroom at the time, so they don't have to walk all the way back down to the church. I just wanted to clarify that. There were a few other things. Let's see, safety risk, program, lack of planning. The lack of planning thing kind of bothered me too, because there was a lot of planning that took place going into Toddlin, and a lot of parties weren't forthcoming with information that they had. Okay. Again, yes, it was a cluster that hopefully will be fixed. But a lack of planning, no. We're lucky that we got a pre-K, an expanded pre-K, with highly qualified teachers. And to quote, I believe the person who was spoken, called it a beautiful program. Lovely program, loves the teachers and loves the program. So Toddlin, yeah, it's full of dust, but you know what? We need to all step up and make it a positive thing going forward and stop trying to dredge one poor slob through the trenches. And it's become a personal vendetta with Mr. Roach. And for him to stand up here during the last council meeting and say that he spoke for everybody, I think not. I speak for myself and only myself. And I want, going forward, I hope that you will consider continuing the contract for Dr. DePatsy. Thank you.
Thank you. For the folks listening at home, folks in the audience, I just want to make sure that we adhere to the policy section, board governance and operations. And if we look at board policy, public participation at school board meetings, we adhere to item D. All speakers must identify themselves as they begin talking. Speakers are not permitted to share gossip, make defamatory comments, or abusive or vulgar language. So please just make sure when you're speaking that you adhere to those governing principles. Next up is Timothy Kane. Again, please speak into the microphone, say your name and address, please.
Good evening, folks. My name is Timothy Kane. I'm the principal at C.K. Burns School, and I'm also a resident. I live right over here on Winter Street, as well as a parent with students here in the system. After listening to some of the very disturbing negative comments from the last school board meeting, I feel it's important that you hear some of the more positive. Please keep in mind that those negative attacks come out of personal agendas, and more importantly, they just do not know all the positive work that's going on throughout the district. In this position, unfortunately, there will always be negative attacks from individuals who do not truly understand the inner workings of leading a district. I will be very brief and focus on some of the more important positives at this time. I have worked in several districts from the position of coach, ed tech, teacher, assistant principal, as well as superintendent. We have with us a superintendent who understands the curriculum, instruction, assessment better than any superintendent that I have known. We have a superintendent who always puts the needs of the children first and supports us as staff in finding ways to meet their needs. He created a strategic plan when he came to this district as part of a clear entry plan into the district. Along with that plan, we have a clear focus on early intervention through coaching and targeted intervention with strategic goals that focus on both achievement and social-emotional learning. He has successfully implemented abbreviated Wednesdays and now have sufficient time for professional development and a clear focus on our PLCs, our professional learning communities. All of this was done in collaboration with our staff. Our newly implemented PG&E, which is our professional growth and evaluation system, is one of the best in the state and focuses on a growth mindset. Special education, as you know, can take on a life of its own. Dr. DePatsy fully understands the innermost workings and has helped to establish new and strong programming to meet the needs of all of our students, special ed and regular ed. He has also supported the professional development needed in support of our staff. The negative attacks are personal. Unfortunately, instead of collaboration and coming forward with working solutions, they have chosen to personally attack our superintendent. We need to look at all the positives that Dr. DePatsy has done for the district and will continue to do so for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. That is the last of the public comment section. Moving into Agenda 5, do I have a motion?
Yeah, I move we enter into executive session for the purpose of evaluation of employee pursuant to 1 MRSA subsection 4056A with no action.
Second? There's been a motion and a second. All in favor? Unanimous. We're now in executive session.